time qualified to run the New York City Marathon. And I only learned about this within the last couple of months. The New York City Marathon was not on my radar. Don't ask me why. And I only learned that I qualified because I was researching something else, came across these qualifying times, and crazily started screaming when I saw that I had run a qualifying time for my age to get into New York. And since I learned about that, I ran an even faster marathon in 2025, which was 5 minutes and 29 seconds. Is that right? Something like that. 5 minutes and 29 or so seconds faster than the minimum qualifying time I would have needed to run. But I'm still not going to get into New York, even if I go ahead and apply. I know that, at least not through a time qualifier status, because last year you had to run at least 11 minutes and some odd seconds, so around 12 minutes faster than your qualifying time because of all of the people applying to get in. So what does that mean? Does that mean that I'm not going to submit for New York? I don't know. And they opened the ballot on the 4th of February. Today is the 9th. I have 2 days to make my decision. And so that's where I am. So welcome to this video. I'm in the mode of what am I going to do? I had a question. When I went to the website said, or I read somewhere about New York City Marathon, that if you time qualify, submit, and you don't get in through that status, your name is automatically put into the general lottery. And if you get in that way, you know, your credit card is automatically charged. You're paying something like, at least for where I sit, because I don't live in the state, over $300 for the entry. I didn't like that. So I reached out to the New York Road Runners, who gives you the information about, you know, the marathon. And I said, look, I time qualified. I'm thinking I may submit an application, but do I have an option? Can I yank my name from consideration if I don't get in as a time qualifier? Can I yank my name and not be in the general lottery? And I was told in an email, yes, you can, but just know that even if you don't get in as time qualifier and you do get in as in the lottery, we will put you in your proper time corral, which is actually really good to know. But why am I wondering if I'm even going to apply when this is a race that people dream of and work toward forever and ever? And there are many who say that this is maybe one of the greatest of the major marathons. Well, I have a few reasons why I've been hesitant, why it's day 5 and I still haven't applied. One is the fact that, frankly, it is over $300. They're going to charge my credit card right away. I don't like that when these major marathons do that. Chicago does that. I don't know about the other ones. I know they need their money, but anyway, I need my money too. So I've got to give that some thought. And over $300 is, it can be a lot for people. The other thing is that it is New York City. And this is a race that has attracted over 50,000, 55,000 some odd people in recent years. That is a lot of competition for lodging, hotels, etc. High demand means excessive, I'm sure, prices. Everything is relative, but I'm sure it would be excessive for me. And that actually gets me to the other point, is the 55,000 or so odd people on the course. I ran the Chicago Marathon. That will always have a special place in my heart. If you watch this channel, my last one was in 2024. And you may also know that one of the drawbacks for me was the fact that there were so many people on the course. It was another one with more than 50 some odd thousand people. And I had certain time goals, things I wanted to achieve, and it was difficult to do on a course like that was clogged. Now, I will say that I think it's wonderful that so many people have the opportunity to run in a major marathon. But if the majors are going to insist on allowing so many people and they're going to continue to grow, I would like to say that I wish there was more attention to making the experience better for more people because we all are going in with different goals. So, but just to say that if they're going to allow the bigger fields, again, in my experience, I just saw some room for improvement in Chicago. And I've heard things about New York where it can be so compact on the road with people that you can't even run. You're like a bunch of sardines just trying to make your way. So in a can, sardines in a can, which obviously aren't making their way anywhere. I don't know that I want to go through that. As I said, I've run 2 marathons in 2025. They were both small marathons. One was like over 400 people. I cannot remember the exact amount. And the other one was under 200 people. And they were wonderful experiences in a small field. That's probably a video for another day, just to talk about the smaller fields, the local marathons, and the wonder of those. But back to New York. So these are some of the things that have made me reluctant to apply. Now, with all that said, I was in New York City in 2024 with my mother on a trip that was incidental to the 2024 New York City Marathon. It just happened to be happening when we were there. That was a true gift. And I wound up making a 5-part series about the 2024 New York City Marathon because we were there. And I got to see it. I got to experience seeing the runners come at nearly the halfway point. And I also got to see runners at the finish. Well, not literally at the finish, but I couldn't get into that in Central Park. But I watched runners after they were finished around, I can't remember the street, but it was close to Fifth Avenue. And seeing them and seeing their joy. And I feel like I kind of lived some of it vicariously because I was in New York City. I got to experience the Bandit, in particular, the Bandit pop-up shop. I ran with people the previous day in a Bandit running shakeout run. And I'm sure that there were people in that group who were running the marathon the next day. So I feel like I kind of was like, I got to feel some of it. So I just feel happy that I had the opportunity to be there when I was with my mother, even incidentally, and to experience that. And I don't know. I don't know that, I have a lot to think about. I've got to make a decision about this. So I'll let you know what I decide. I've got less than basically 2 days, and I'll give you an update. New York City, experiencing it from the inside, running it as opposed to watching it. Well, you know what? There's something else I want to mention. The likelihood that I'm going to get into the race with a time qualifier, for one, is slim. And as I've kind of already mentioned, and if I decide to go for the lottery, that's maybe even slimmer. Like you have, they say, around a 3%, less than 3% chance of getting in through lottery. So yeah, this may be a lot of hand wringing over nothing. But one way or the other, I'll let you know what I decide to do. I'm sure a lot of people are in this position right now. And yeah, it's the 9th of February. Got to make a decision by Wednesday. We'll see. And I will see you in the next video.
Again in New York. Yo. Yeah, so here's my question. Here's what the burning question I wanted to ask you.